Good morning, everyone, and how are you this morning? I hope yesterday went well for you. It was okay for me. Not great, not great, but not terrible either. So just another day at the office. Anyway, yeah, not much to talk about, not much to announce. Just another tarot reading. Yeah, today is going to be Traditional Thursday, where we do it just like we did when we first started out. And I'm selecting the wrong deck here. I will say this, yesterday I went ahead and uploaded 2 videos to High Notes. That was the video from Tuesday and the one from yesterday. Yesterday we got the Thurisaz rune, which I'm expecting perhaps will point to that one. I don't know why. I just keep getting that funny, odd little feeling we're going to be pointing toward that Thurisaz rune, dealing with conflicts and challenges. I can see that all over Twitter these days. Anyway. Well, we don't know yet. We haven't unveiled any cards, we haven't seen any messages yet, so let's just hold off on that. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'd be okay with being wrong, to be honest with you, for once. I would actually love to be wrong. That would be so much fun for me. I'd be so happy. Okay, here we go. So we've got Viking Oracle, Spirit Animal Oracle, Tarot Grand Lux, Starseed Oracle. We have not really consulted with that one for a while. And I think it's about time we did. You know, we've consulted with Work Your Light, we've consulted with Lightworker, a few others. Let's face it, when your collection gets to be about like mine, sometimes you gravitate toward a few different decks, and then others you just you kind of leave on the shelf, you know, for a little while. Maybe they're just not situationally appropriate. I know one thing, there are certain tarot and oracle deck pairings that just go together like peas and carrots, or like peanut butter and jelly. And give you an example of one we actually used, I think probably about a week ago. That was Wild Unknown Tarot and Sacred Rebels Oracle, and the reason they go together is because they're very blunt and they're very honest. They do not pull punches. They give you the, you know, they give you the straight dose of the truth, and that's it. And that's it. You can either take those messages or leave them. Completely up to you. Just as you can take these or leave these. Something I should probably point out. Some people seem to be ignorant of this fact. And one of those was a commenter on my BitChute channel. I finally got a comment on BitChute, and went to go check it, and I was kind of excited. I was like, oh, what is this all about? And apparently it was just some idiot blathering on. But anyway, number one, I do not have a website where I'm selling motivational speeches, tarot decks, oracle decks, or anything like that. And I don't see anything wrong with anyone who does. I do sell my services, and I keep them relatively inexpensive. That's all in the description down below. You go to my drive-thru RPG wish list, you go to my Amazon wish list, you throw me something off of that, 35 bucks and under. If there's anything over 35 bucks, chances are I'm just saving it because it's easier for me to find, and I'm going to probably buy it myself. But anything 35 and under, I don't care if it's a $10 book, I don't care if it's a $20 RPG book, a new tarot deck, whatever. You throw me something like that, you let me know you're the one that did it, you provide your, just a name, it doesn't matter what name it is, an email address and a day and month of birth, and I will perform 2 free readings for you so you can ask 2 questions and then a birthday reading. That's it. That's the entire deal. Not many people take advantage of it. It's not required. You can still view these videos any day of the week, absolutely for free. I am not monetizing my channels. I'm not making you put up with ads. If you're seeing ads on your YouTube, use an ad blocker or go to a different site. That's why I post to like 5 different sites: YouTube, BitChute, CloudHub, Rumble, and Odyssey. There you go. That's all there is to it, ladies and gentlemen. And as for any income, talking about money here, that's what I have a job for. And yes, sometimes that means these videos get posted a little late because I get called in to work early or something like that. And the rest of the time, hey, I just take my weekends off just like you do. If you get those things. Sometimes I have to work on the weekend too. Now, with that out of the way, let's get on with it, shall we? Starting with you. Loki. So, taking a little bit more of a playful approach would be a great thing. Playful, not deceptive. Remember earlier in the week we talked about being real. We talked about being, real with others, not being duplicitous. This is not about us being duplicitous. This is about us being a little playful. This is about us having a little, you know what? Let me just say it. You are allowed to have fun. What you are not allowed is to, crimp on someone else's fun. You're not allowed to just blow theirs out of the water just so you can have it. So have your fun. Learn to temper it a little bit, though. Don't get too overbearing with it. But anyway, we have Saul, the light of the sun, the light of a very luminous star. And we've talked about her before. Much like her brother Mani. Mani tends to tell us, hey, time is your most valuable asset. Why are you squandering it? And that's a very good point. Don't squander your time. But in this case, it's just telling you, surround yourself with more positive people. Try to not engage too much in gossip or anything like that, or mockery. Well, let's not do that. But anyway, have that playful approach. Surround yourself with positive people and watch what happens. The whole vibe is gonna lift up into a higher frequency for you. You'll be a lot happier if you do. On top of that, you get that electric eel spirit. You can bring your own ideas to life. That's a pretty self-explanatory card. I really don't need to go too much into that. Remember, especially if you're into kind of any creative field, and I imagine we're probably going to see some wands here. If you're into any kind of creative field, and you surround yourself by people who love the same things you do, maybe you all have the same gripes about something. But when you disregard those and you formulate a new strategy, well, then everything just kind of comes up. When you support each other's work, everything kind of comes up. When you're having that fun, everything kind of comes up. Here's the thing. In tabletop RPG spaces, I know that there are people that absolutely do not like Dungeon Crawl Classics for any reason. They don't like how weird the system can get, and it can get a little weird. They don't like, they prefer like something like Basic Fantasy RPG or, Basic Expert D&D, which is kind of the same thing. Or BECME D&D, which is Basic Expert Companion Masters and Immortals. And in which case they just buy the rule cyclopedia, and that's really all. That's the only D&D book they need. I have it, and I have several other D&D books too. Now, while people have their little niche inside of one group, the one thing they can all agree on is this group. You know, and I've seen plenty of people say, you know what, I'm all about Lamentations of the Flame Princess, but that system over there I think might suit you. If this isn't really for you, I think that system over there will do you some good. And never once will you hear someone go, hey man, geez, I don't know about that one. I just want to complain about Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Or I just want to complain about Basic Fantasy D&D. Or I just want to complain about Old School Essentials. You will never really hear that. What you'll hear is, hey man, thanks for the tip. You know what, this book, yeah, it fits me like a glove. Thank you. Now I just got to find a group. That's what you'll get. But from other RPGs, it's, well, if you play those games, you're an Istorophobe. You see what I'm saying? I'd rather not surround myself with people like that. Yeah, because if I find they're surrounding me, I'm just going to buy the other books. I'm not, you know, the way you get something to go away is to stop buying it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you get it to go away. Case in point, Crystal Pepsi. There we go. Alright, so getting into your tarot without wasting any more of your time, we got a Star in reverse. Two of Swords. And Death. Okay, so let's go with the Star in reverse. Star in reverse, that's whenever you see the star, that's sort of a time to really get out there and emerge and be seen. Sort of like Judgment. But in this case, I don't see that. And that's what kind of worries me a little bit. That Star in reverse. So this is where we're not feeling a lot of hope. Don't see a lot of light at the end of the tunnel. It's because we're lacking a little self-reflection here. And that's fact. A lot of us are lacking that self-reflection. Never mind that the rune Isa came up twice for our weekly rune, which let us know it was time for a little self-reflection. This is letting us know there's a time for some self-reflection if you want to have any hope in the world. And that's where we are right now. We're kind of without a little hope. And a lot of us are trying to present us with this Two of Swords right now. And what this represents to me is two extreme ways of thinking. But if you notice, there's that person right there in the middle, and they're being blinded by both. I usually say this is a decision that cuts both ways. And it will be a decision that cuts both ways, because once you make the decision, you will lose one side, you will probably lose the other, you will probably lose friends on either side, but it doesn't matter. What matters is surrounding yourself with the right kind of people. The people that want to see your goals and your dreams and, you know, your aspirations being furthered. Those are the people you need to surround yourself with. And you have to make sure that they're positive. You have to be sure that you can have your fun with them. You have to be able to bring those ideas to life. Right? Now, there's a cautionary tale here, too. Some ideas really should probably not be brought to life. Some should not. Some ideas that we should have certain freedoms without responsibilities. I don't believe that in the least. I believe we should have total freedom. However, it comes with some responsibilities, which means sometimes, as much as I like to say certain things, as much as I love to do certain things, sometimes even I'll temper myself from doing them or saying them, because something else might matter a little more. And that's true. Something else in your life may matter just a touch more than what you really want to do. Sometimes you don't always get what you want, but you get what you need. That makes sense? There we go. Because making that decision will lead to the death of something. Something in your life is going to die. Something in your life is going to pass away and probably never be seen again. And that must be a positive. Because for something else to begin, for one thing to begin, something else has to end. That's the big compromise in life. That's what, we got Scotty yesterday, which was all about compromise. That's where we need to end our, let me put it to you this way. If you want to lose weight and feel better and look better, you have to, the old eating habits have to go. The old snacking habits have to go. You have to adopt some new ones. If you want to snack and eat the way you want all the time, you have to be comfortable with your waistline getting bigger, you not being able to move quite as quickly, you being a little more winded when you walk so many steps or so many feet or so many miles. You're going to have to get used to that. And you're going to have to take responsibility for it. Get what I mean? See? Some ideas are not all that great brought to life. So, looking at our oracle, we do have big picture thinking. We also have baby steps. And we have star family. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the first three cards just keep getting reinforced. Your big picture thinking. This is where you have to ask yourself a question, and it is, what do you want? What do you want most? Because your ideas should be visionary. They should be inspired, not born of fear. Let me ask you something, ladies and gentlemen. If your ideas are born of fear, what good are they? And let me tell you something. If your idea is to write a book, then how are you going to entertain someone? How are you going to take someone in to those words, that written page, and say, here's the world I created, here are the characters I created, and how do you plan on keeping them there and having them enjoy it? That's the question. You see? If your idea is to write a book that isn't fiction based, maybe it's another tabletop fantasy RPG, maybe it's something else, maybe it's a history book. How can you say, well, these are the ideas that, here's what happened in history, here are the takeaways from it. These are the ideas that I think, should be preserved, and these are the ones that we should have going forward to preserve that. If your idea is to create a painting, how can I put as many eyes on this as possible? Stuff like that. Really think about the overall. Then you got to narrow it down a little bit. You're going to have to take some baby steps. The journey of 1,000 miles always begins with that first step. People, I've got books right now on my shelf that are about this thick. I am not going to be reading them in 1 minute. It's not going to happen. I am not going to listen to them inside of 30 minutes if there's an audiobook. That's not going to happen either. I'm going to have to read that first page, and then the page after that, and the page after that. If you keep doing that, eventually you come to the point where you're like, hey, whoa, how did that happen? I've chewed through this much of the book. I've learned how to draw this well in 30 days. I've learned how to do this, that, or the third much more efficiently in the last week. The answer is, it's going to take some repetition. It really is. Water does not shape a rock unless it's over a very long period of time. It's just fact. And here's the thing. The Star Family card tells you you are born of people with like soul. It's time to call them in for support. They will support you because supporting you means supporting them too. Call those pieces of your soul back to you too. You're part of a team of them. Call them in. Call for that support. It's okay. Finally, we have the runes. We have Awaz, Rider-Waite, and Hagalars. Okay, so if you find it difficult to transition, don't worry. Others will help, because even with like something like dieting, right? Stop dieting. Don't follow fad diets. What's the first 3 letters? Yeah, die. That's exactly what they do. You're on for a little while. After a while, it's like, that didn't work for me. Well, I don't think you gave it enough time there, pal. But anyway, moving. Let's just take a weight loss journey, for example. You know, you start with like how you snack. Okay, well, I'm gonna get rid of the chips and the pork rinds and all the candy. I'm gonna start with fruits, maybe some vegetables, maybe some like, you know, pita chips with hummus, maybe some sardines, some tuna and crackers or something like that. I'm gonna go with that. Well, you start doing that, and it's like, well, let me just add 1 healthy meal a day for that, and you do that. It's like, I wonder what 2 healthy meals would do for me, and you do that. Before you know it, you can goof off of like 1 meal and then have all the rest to be healthy. And then you're like, well, let me add a day of intermittent fasting maybe once a month and watch what happens. Start small. If you can afford to do it, start small and then work your way forward. Before too long, you're telling others, hey, look at what I'm doing. I started here, I did this, I did this, I did this, and now look at me. I started here, and now I'm here. Only took 6 months. Only took a year. Only took 2 years. But I didn't focus on it. I didn't worry about it. And before too long, I noticed I was a lot smaller. And there's where the journey comes into play. Because see, people only see the start and end. They don't see the journey it took. But really, it's more about the journey than it is the destination. The journey is going to teach you everything you need to know. By the time you reach your destination, you have developed a lifestyle to which you're accustomed, that'll work. There you go. You've already got everything you need. And finally, I've got Hagalars. Hagalars usually means hail or ice. It's disruptive. It is changing. It happens. And guess what? Once you leave the old you behind, you never pick him back up, do you? I can tell you one thing. Since losing some of the weight I've lost, I'm not as miserable anymore. I don't sit there and make jokes about my weight. I don't. Because if someone's telling me, hey, you should probably try this and drop a few more pounds that way, my response is, hey, thanks, I'll do that. I'll check that out. Because I know that person is encouraging me. I know they want what I want, and they're willing to help me along. Anyone who's calling me phobic or ist, well, they don't have any hope. They're out of my life. And me, I'm getting playful with these people. I'm seeing the light here. I'm bringing that idea to life. Just just good words of thumb. Be a little playful. Call in those of like soul. Get your light on. That's really what this is all about, ladies and gentlemen. Find what you want. And you have to absolutely want it. Get rid of anyone who is not going to support you. Stick to those who will. Take that journey. Learn to be a little flexible along that journey. And if you really want that change, understand it's probably not going to come very easy. Be a lot easier with support than without it. Get me? Okay. Time for me to get out of here and get this thing edited and out to you. Just remember, this is really a message of love out to all of you. It doesn't have to be a book, it doesn't have to be a painting, it doesn't have to be a weight loss journey. It's just, what do you want? It's a call to action for you to take that first step in your journey towards making your dream a reality. It could be a personal dream. Likewise, someone could be calling you in. Yesterday was all about the gifts you had been given to possibly help others, and I was seeing more of that than you helping yourself. If you have a journey that has taught you anything, teach those lessons. Likewise, if you're about to take a journey, take those lessons from others who have been there, who have done that, who have experience. I love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Always do what lights you up. And as always, my friends, shine on.